I am Alex Chen, and I live in the shadows of Mesa's digital underground, where my reputation as a hacker precedes every encrypted message I send. Tonight, like most nights, I sit surrounded by the glow of 6 monitors in my cramped studio apartment, fingers dancing across keyboards as I infiltrate another corporate network. The coffee tastes like battery acid, but it keeps me sharp for the work that pays rent and buys ramen noodles. That's when I hear her voice cutting through the static of Kimeza's late-night frequency. This is Jennifer, and you're listening to Midnight Confessions. Tonight, I want to talk about loneliness. Her voice hits me like warm honey through bitter coffee. I freeze, my hands hovering over the keyboard where lines of code scroll past unnoticed. Something about her tone, vulnerable yet controlled, draws me away from corporate firewalls and into whatever confession she's about to share. People assume wealth solves everything, she continues, her words floating through my speakers. But money can't buy the feeling of being truly known by another person. Sometimes I wonder if anyone would love me if they stripped away the bank account, the art collection, the penthouse view. I lean back in my chair, studying the ceiling of my modest apartment where water stains form abstract patterns. This woman, whoever she is, speaks directly to the hollow ache I've carried since childhood. We live in completely different worlds, yet her loneliness echoes my own. For 3 weeks, I listen religiously. Jennifer becomes the voice that grounds me between hacking jobs and dodgy clients who pay in cash. She talks about art therapy sessions, helping broken souls find healing through creativity. She mentions her wealth casually, like it's a burden rather than a blessing. Each broadcast reveals another layer of a woman who sounds nothing like the privileged elite I've spent years despising. Finally, I can't resist anymore. I route my signal through 7 proxy servers and call the station. Midnight Confessions, this is Jennifer. Your voice, I whisper, my throat suddenly dry. It's beautiful. Silence stretches between us, filled with the hum of radio equipment and my own racing heartbeat. Who are you? Someone who understands loneliness. Are you safe calling here? Your signal's bouncing through more encryption than most government agencies use. I almost laugh. She caught that. Are you? Probably not. But I'm glad you called. We talk for 47 minutes about everything and nothing. She doesn't ask my name, doesn't push for details about my obviously illegal technical setup. Instead, she asks about dreams, about the last time I felt truly happy, about whether I believe in second chances. I think everyone deserves to be seen, she tells me near the end of our call. Not for what they have or what they've done, but for who they really are underneath all the armor. Even criminals? Especially criminals. We build walls for reasons. When I hang up, my hands shake slightly. This woman, this Jennifer with her warm voice and unconventional wisdom, has just cracked through defenses I've spent years perfecting. For the first time in longer than I can remember, I feel something other than cynical detachment. I want to see her face. I want to know if her eyes hold the same gentle strength as her voice. I want to kiss those lips that speak such dangerous truths about loneliness and connection. But between us lies a gap wider than the Grand Canyon, filled with class differences, criminal records, and the impossible distance between her penthouse world and my underground existence. Still, as I return to my screens and the familiar comfort of code, her voice echoes in my mind like a promise I'm not brave enough to believe. Tomorrow night, I'll call again. 3 weeks after our first call, Jennifer suggests a video chat. My stomach twists as I stare at her message through our encrypted channel. She wants to see the face behind the voice that's been calling her show every night, building something I'm terrified to name. I set up the secure connection from my apartment, hyper-aware of the cracked plaster walls and secondhand furniture behind me. When her image fills my screen, I nearly forget to breathe. Jennifer Morgan is stunning in that effortless way wealthy women master, blonde hair falling in perfect waves past her shoulders, blue eyes that seem to look straight through my carefully constructed walls. You're not what I expected, she says, smiling. Disappointed? Relieved. You look like someone with secrets, not someone who hurts people for fun. Her penthouse stretches behind her like something from an architectural magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows reveal Mesa's skyline, art pieces worth more than I'll earn in 5 years decorating walls that probably cost more than my entire building. The contrast between our worlds appears in sharp focus through our screens. Tell me about your work, she says during our 3rd video call. I break things, digital things. Companies pay me to find weaknesses in their systems. And the companies that don't pay you? I shrug. Sometimes I find weaknesses anyway. She laughs, not the horrified reaction I expected. Robin Hood with a keyboard. More like survivalist with Wi-Fi. Our conversations stretch longer each night. She tells me about her art therapy practice, how she helps trauma survivors express pain through colors and shapes. I find myself sharing stories I've never told anyone, about growing up poor, about learning to code in public libraries, about the loneliness that comes with living outside society's accepted boundaries. My friends think I'm losing my mind, she admits one night. They keep asking about the mysterious woman who calls my show. What do you tell them? That some connections transcend logic. The night she suggests meeting in person, my hands shake as I type my response. We agree on neutral ground, a small coffee shop in downtown Mesa where neither wealth nor criminal reputation matters much. I arrive 15 minutes early, choosing a corner table where I can watch both entrances. When Jennifer walks in, she's even more beautiful in person, moving with that confident grace that comes from never doubting you belong anywhere. She's wearing jeans and a simple sweater, trying to blend in, but everything about her screams expensive. Alex, she says, sliding into the seat across from me. Hearing my name from her lips sends electricity through my chest. We've never exchanged names over the radio, but she somehow discovered mine. You did your research. I'm a therapist. I notice patterns, inconsistencies. Your voice changes when you talk about certain things. We sit in silence for a moment, studying each other across the small table. She's more delicate than I imagined, with fine bone structure and soft skin that's never known real hardship. I'm probably too thin, too sharp-edged, my black hair falling across green eyes that have seen too much. This is crazy, I whisper. The best things usually are. She reaches across the table, her fingertips brushing mine. The contact sends heat racing up my arm, unexpected and overwhelming. I should pull away, should remember all the reasons this can't work. But instead, I turn my palm up, letting her trace patterns across my skin. I've been thinking about kissing you, she admits, her voice barely audible. That's dangerous thinking. I live a very safe life, Alex. Maybe I need some danger. When she leans forward, I meet her halfway. Our lips touch softly at first, testing, exploring this impossible attraction between us. Then she sighs against my mouth, and I deepen the kiss. My hand tangling in her hair as months of late-night conversations crystallize into this perfect moment of connection. We break apart breathing hard, foreheads touching across the small table. This complicates everything, I whisper. I know. You don't know anything about my world. Teach me. The certainty in her voice terrifies me. Jennifer Morgan, with her trust fund and penthouse and legitimate career, wants to learn about midnight hacking sessions and cash payments, and the constant fear of looking over your shoulder. She has no idea what she's asking for, but the hope in her blue eyes makes me want to try anyway. 2 weeks after our first kiss, Jennifer shows up at my apartment with groceries and a concerned expression that makes my stomach clench. I watch through my security monitor as she climbs 3 flights of stairs in designer heels, carrying bags that probably cost more than my monthly rent. You don't eat enough, she says when I open the door, not bothering with hello. I eat fine. Ramen and energy drinks aren't food, Alex. She pushes past me into my cramped studio, setting expensive ingredients on my second-hand counter like she owns the place. The contrast hits me hard. Jennifer in her perfectly tailored blazer, arranging organic vegetables in my kitchen, while my multiple monitors cast blue light across water-stained walls. Stop, I say. My voice sharper than intended. Just stop. Stop what? This. The savior complex. I'm not some charity case you can fix with better groceries. Her blue eyes flash with hurt, then anger. Is that what you think this is? What else could it be? Rich woman finds poor criminal fascinating, decides to upgrade her lifestyle. You're being an ass. I'm being realistic. We stare at each other across my tiny kitchen, the groceries forgotten between us. She looks so out of place here, like an art piece someone mistakenly delivered to the wrong address. Everything about this situation feels impossible. My friends warned me about you, she says quietly. Smart friends. Bernard Peterson thinks you're running some elaborate con. Says criminals like you target wealthy women for money. The accusation hits like a physical blow. Is that what you believe? I don't know what to believe anymore. Bernard Peterson. I've heard the name whispered in certain circles. Jennifer's business partner with connections to people who make problems disappear. The kind of man who sees threats everywhere because he creates them himself. Maybe your friend's right, I say, hating myself for the words. Maybe you should walk away before you get hurt. Instead of leaving, she steps closer. Are you trying to hurt me, Alex? I'm trying to protect you. From what? From this. From me. From the reality of what happens when people from our different worlds try to make something work. She moves closer still, until I can smell her expensive perfume mixing with the scent of fresh produce. Her hand touches my cheek, thumb tracing the scar above my left eyebrow from a childhood accident I've never told her about. What if I don't want protection? Jennifer. What if I want you exactly as you are? Her lips find mine before I can protest further. This kiss is different from our careful exploration in the coffee shop. Desperate, hungry, filled with the frustration of all our unspoken fears. I taste the wine she had with lunch, feel the slight tremor in her hands as they slide into my hair. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. This is insane, I whisper against her mouth. I know. We're going to destroy each other. Probably. But neither of us pulls away. Instead, I back her against my kitchen counter, my body pressing close to hers as I kiss her neck, tasting the expensive lotion she uses, feeling her pulse race under my lips. She gasps softly when I find that sensitive spot just below her ear. Alex. Tell me to stop. I can't. Her hands fumble with the buttons of my shirt while I slide my fingers under her blazer, mapping the warm skin beneath silk. We stumble toward my unmade bed, leaving a trail of expensive clothing mixed with my thrift store finds. Every logical voice in my head screams warnings, but her mouth on mine silences everything except need. We make love with desperate intensity, as if we both know this might be our only chance before reality tears us apart. Her skin feels impossibly soft under my calloused hands, her quiet gasps when I touch her driving away every doubt about whether this connection is real. When she moves above me, blonde hair falling like a curtain around our faces, I see something in her eyes that terrifies and thrills me. Complete surrender. Afterward, we lie tangled in my cheap sheets, her head on my chest while I trace patterns on her bare shoulder. The groceries still sit forgotten on my counter, expensive ingredients slowly warming in the desert heat filtering through my single window. This doesn't solve anything, I say into the quiet. I know. Your world and mine don't mix, Jennifer. She lifts her head to look at me, blue eyes serious. Then maybe we make our own world. The hope in her voice breaks my heart because I want to believe her. I want to believe that love conquers class differences and criminal records and the 1,000 obstacles standing between us. But as sirens wail in the distance, and my neighbors argue through paper-thin walls, I know we're living in a fantasy that daylight will shatter. Still, when she kisses me again, soft and sweet and full of impossible promises, I kiss her back like my life depends on it. Jennifer's determination to understand my world starts a week after our first night together. She shows up at my building wearing jeans and a baseball cap, trying to look casual but still radiating expensive sophistication. I want to see where you work, she says when I answer the door. That's not how this works, Jennifer. I can't just bring tourists to underground hacker meets. I'm not a tourist. I'm your girlfriend. The word hangs between us, loaded with implications neither of us has been brave enough to voice. Girlfriend. Such a simple word for something so complicated. These aren't nice people, I warn her. They'll eat you alive. Let me worry about that. Against my better judgment, I take her to Phoenix Underground, a basement club where hackers, freaks, and digital anarchists gather to trade information and insults. The entrance is through a vape shop that looks abandoned from the street. Jennifer follows me down narrow stairs into a space filled with cigarette smoke, energy drinks, and the blue glow of dozens of laptop screens. Every conversation stops when we enter. 20 pairs of eyes assess Jennifer like predators evaluating prey, taking in her perfect posture, her expensive shoes, the way she unconsciously touches her designer purse. Well, says Razor, a rail-thin woman with purple hair and facial piercings. Alex brought a tourist. She's with me, I say, my voice carrying warning. Pretty little rich girl want to see how the other half lives? Jennifer steps forward before I can stop her. I want to understand Alex's work. The room erupts in laughter. Someone makes a crude comment about rich women slumming with criminals. Another voice suggests Jennifer's looking for thrills before returning to her safe life. I feel my face burning with embarrassment and anger. Maybe this was a mistake, Jennifer whispers to me. No, I say loudly enough for the room to hear. Maybe these people need to learn some manners. The laughter dies. Razor steps closer, her eyes dangerous. You threatening us, Alex? Bringing your sugar mama here to throw money around? I'm introducing my girlfriend to my colleagues. Problem with that? The word girlfriend again, claimed publicly this time. Jennifer's hand finds mine, her fingers squeezing tight. Your funeral, Razor shrugs, but she backs off. We spend 2 hours in the basement while Jennifer observes everything with quiet intensity. She doesn't ask ignorant questions or look disgusted by the atmosphere. Instead, she listens to conversations about corporate vulnerabilities and digital activism with genuine interest. When someone mentions using hacking skills to expose child trafficking networks, her eyes light up with understanding. You're not just criminals, she says to me later, outside in the fresh air. You're activists. Don't romanticize it. Most of what happens down there is petty theft and ego games. But not all of it. Not what you do. She's right, though I've never admitted it out loud. Half my jobs involve exposing corruption or helping abuse victims disappear from dangerous situations. The corporate break-ins pay bills, but they're not what drives me. Your turn, I tell her the next day. I want to see your work. Jennifer's art therapy studio occupies the entire top floor of a converted warehouse in downtown Mesa. Natural light pours through skylights onto easels and pottery wheels, creating a space that feels more like a sanctuary than a workplace. The contrast with Phoenix Underground couldn't be sharper. This is Sarah, Jennifer says, introducing me to a woman in her 40s working on a large canvas. She's been coming here for 6 months. Sarah barely acknowledges me, lost in painting what looks like a storm of dark colors with tiny figures reaching toward light. Jennifer explains quietly that Sarah survived domestic violence and uses art to process trauma she can't verbalize yet. The goal isn't creating masterpieces, Jennifer tells me as we walk through the studio. It's externalization. Getting the pain outside where they can see it, shape it, control it. I watch her interact with each client, offering gentle guidance without judgment, creating safe space for people to be broken without shame. She speaks the same language of healing that I recognize from radio shows, but seeing her work brings new understanding of who Jennifer really is underneath the wealth and privilege. You save people, I realize. We save ourselves. I just provide supplies and space. That afternoon, she shows me her private office where she keeps files on clients who need extra protection. Women, hiding from abusive partners, teenagers thrown out by families for being different, immigrants afraid to access traditional services. Her work parallels mine in ways I never expected. We're not so different, she says, reading my thoughts. You help people heal. I help them hide. Both necessary. When she kisses me in her office, surrounded by her life's work, something settles in my chest. This woman who seemed so foreign in my apartment fits perfectly here, passionate about justice in her own quiet way. Her mouth tastes like the herbal tea she drinks between sessions, and when she sighs my name against my lips, I finally believe we might actually belong together. I love you, she whispers, the words slipping out like they've been waiting for permission. That's dangerous. I don't care. You should care. People like me don't get happy endings, Jennifer. People like us make our own endings. She kisses me again, deeper this time, her hands tangling in my hair like she's afraid I'll disappear. Through the studio windows, Mesa spreads below us in afternoon light, a city full of broken people finding ways to heal. For the first time since this started, I let myself hope we might be two of them. The invitation arrives on cream-colored paper that probably costs more than my weekly food budget. Jennifer watches nervously as I read the elegant script, announcing the Morgan family's annual autumn gathering at their Scottsdale estate. I can't go to this, I say, setting the invitation on her kitchen counter. Please, Alex, I need you there. As what? Your mysterious friend with the interesting prison tattoos? As my support system. These family events. She trails off, staring out her penthouse windows. They're performances. Everyone pretending we're this perfect dynasty while tearing each other apart behind closed doors. So don't go. I have to. Trust fund obligations, board meetings disguised as dinner parties. If I don't show up, they'll assume I'm having another breakdown. Another breakdown. She's never mentioned a first one, but the pain in her voice tells me everything I need to know about her family's idea of support. What do I tell them when they ask what I do for work? Cybersecurity consultant. It's technically true. 3 days later, I'm standing in front of Jennifer's bedroom mirror wearing a borrowed black dress that costs more than my rent. She bought me shoes, jewelry, even had her hairstylist do something with my normally unruly dark hair. I look like someone pretending to be rich, which is exactly what I am. You look beautiful, Jennifer says, appearing behind me in the mirror. I look like a fraud. Welcome to my entire life. The Morgan estate sits on 20 acres of pristine desert landscape, the main house rising like a modern castle against red rock formations. Valets park cars worth more than most people's houses, while guests in designer evening wear make small talk on terraces overlooking infinity pools. Remember, Jennifer whispers as we approach the entrance, you're my friend from college. We reconnected recently through mutual acquaintances. College friends don't look at each other the way I look at you. Then stop looking at me like that. But I can't help it. Jennifer in formal wear is devastating. Her blonde hair swept up to reveal the elegant curve of her neck. Blue eyes bright with nervous energy. The black cocktail dress she wears probably costs more than my car, but it's the confidence she projects that makes every head turn when we enter the marble foyer. Jennifer, darling. A silver-haired woman glides toward us, air-kissing Jennifer's cheeks. And you must be the mysterious friend we've heard absolutely nothing about. Margaret, this is Alex. Alex, my Aunt Margaret. Margaret's eyes assess me with the precision of a gemologist examining a suspicious diamond. Her smile never wavers, but disapproval radiates from her perfectly composed features. How lovely. And what do you do, dear? Cybersecurity consulting. How modern. Jennifer always did attract unusual friends. Before I can ask what that means, she's gone, swept away by the current of guests flowing toward the outdoor reception area. Jennifer's hand finds mine briefly, her palm damp with perspiration. 1 hour, she murmurs. We'll stay 1 hour and leave. The garden party unfolds like a stage production. Business associates discuss deals that will affect thousands of jobs while their wives compare vacation destinations and charity work. I stand slightly behind Jennifer, watching her perform the role of perfect niece, dutiful heiress, successful woman who definitely isn't in love with a female hacker from the wrong side of Phoenix. The art therapy work is expanding, she tells a group of family friends. We're opening a second location next spring. Still playing with finger paints, dear, says a man I recognize as her Uncle Philip. When are you going to do something serious with your trust fund? Helping trauma survivors heal is serious work. Of course it is. But you could fund hospitals, universities, make a real impact. Jennifer's jaw tightens, but she maintains her smile. I fight the urge to tell Uncle Philip exactly where he can put his opinions about real impact. Jennifer? The voice cuts through garden party chatter like expensive perfume through cheap air freshener. We both turn to see a woman approaching with a kind of confident stride that commands attention. She's stunning in that effortless way some women master, with auburn hair and gray eyes that seem to catalog everything they see. Her dress probably costs more than my apartment deposit, and she wears it like armor. Catherine, Jennifer breathes, the color draining from her face. Catherine Wood, I realize. The ex-girlfriend Jennifer mentioned once during a late-night radio confession, the one who left for a gallery position in New York without saying goodbye. You look incredible, Catherine says, embracing Jennifer longer than casual friendship requires. Her eyes find mine over Jennifer's shoulder. And you must be the new friend I've been hearing whispers about. Alex Chen. I extend my hand, which Catherine takes with the kind of handshake that tests grip strength and character simultaneously. Catherine Wood. Jennifer and I have so much history together. The way she emphasizes history makes my stomach clench. This is the woman who broke Jennifer's heart 2 years ago, who Jennifer trusted with everything before disappearing without explanation. Catherine just returned from New York, Jennifer says, her voice strained. She's been curating exhibitions for the Whitney, among other things. Catherine's smile doesn't reach her eyes. I find myself missing Arizona more than expected. The people here have such authenticity. She's looking directly at me when she says it, and I recognize the challenge in her tone. Catherine Wood knows exactly what I am to Jennifer, and she's here to reclaim territory she thinks belongs to her. If you'll excuse me, I say, I need some air. I escape to a quieter section of the garden where cactuses and desert flowers create natural barriers between social clusters. My hands shake slightly as I pull out my phone, pretending to check messages while trying to process what just happened. Catherine Wood isn't just Jennifer's ex-girlfriend. She's Jennifer's equal. Same social class, same education, same world of trust funds and charity galas. Everything I'm not and never could be. Running away so soon? I turn to find Catherine approaching with 2 glasses of champagne, offering one with a smile that doesn't hide the calculation in her gray eyes. Just getting some perspective. On what? How little you belong here. Her directness catches me off guard. Most wealthy people I've met prefer subtle insults wrapped in politeness. Jennifer seems happy, I say instead of taking her bait. Jennifer seems confused. She has a pattern of rescuing strays, you know. Artists, activists, anyone with a compelling sob story and flexible ethics. Is that what you were? A stray? Catherine laughs, the sound like expensive crystal being tapped. Hardly. I was the one who got away. The one who chose career over comfortable domesticity. Jennifer never quite forgave me for that. Maybe she didn't need to forgive you. Maybe she just moved on. To you? Catherine's eyes rake over my borrowed dress, my uncomfortable heels, the slight tremor in my hands that betrays my nervousness. A criminal with delusions of belonging in her world? The accusation hits like a physical blow, partially because it echoes my own fears about this relationship. She loves me. She loves the idea of you. The rebellion, the danger, the thrill of slumming with someone who could never actually threaten her real life. But when reality sets in, Catherine gestures toward the party, where Jennifer laughs at something Uncle Philip is saying. She'll choose security over chaos. She always does. I want to argue, to defend what Jennifer and I have built together, but Catherine's words plant seeds of doubt in soil already rich with my own insecurities. Looking back toward the party, I see Jennifer surrounded by her family, perfectly at home in a world where I'll always be an outsider pretending to belong. Catherine's words echo in my head for days after the party, poisoning every moment Jennifer and I spend together. When she brings expensive wine to my apartment, I wonder if she's slumming. When she talks about introducing me to more family members, I hear Catherine's voice asking how long the rebellion will last. The doubt comes to a head when Jennifer suggests I move in with her. You're spending half your time at my place anyway, she says, curled against me on her silk sheets. It would save you rent money. So, I can be your kept woman? She pulls back, hurt flashing in her blue eyes. That's not what I meant. Isn't it? Rich girlfriend saves poor criminal from her shabby apartment? Alex, where is this coming from? Before I can answer, her phone buzzes with a text. Catherine's name appears on the screen with a message about meeting for coffee to discuss old times. You're still talking to her. She's an old friend. She's your ex-girlfriend who wants you back. Jennifer sits up, pulling the sheet around herself like armor. Catherine and I have history, but we're not together. You're being paranoid. Am I? She basically called me a temporary diversion at your family party. And you believed her instead of me? The hurt in Jennifer's voice cuts deep, but my own pain runs deeper. Catherine's predictions about Jennifer choosing security over chaos feel more prophetic every day, especially when family pressure keeps mounting against our relationship. Maybe she's right, I say quietly. Maybe this is just rebellion for you. How can you say that after everything we've shared? Because I've been thinking about what happens next. About what happens when the novelty wears off and you remember that I'm a criminal who lives in a studio apartment. Jennifer stands, pacing to her bedroom window that overlooks the city. Her naked silhouette against the glass is beautiful and untouchable, a perfect symbol of everything I can't really have. I don't care about the money. Your family does. Your friends do. That whole world you come from cares very much about the money. Then maybe I don't need that world. But even as she says it, I see the doubt in her reflection. Jennifer Morgan without her trust fund, her connections, her carefully constructed life of privilege? She has no idea what that really means. 3 days later, my laptop chimes with an encrypted message from an anonymous account. The subject line makes my blood freeze. Your girlfriend's business partner is stealing from her. The message contains financial records, bank transfers, shell company documentation. Someone has been systematically draining Jennifer's trust fund through her Art Therapy Foundation's accounts. The amounts are staggering. Hundreds of thousands of dollars redirected to offshore accounts controlled by Peterson Holdings. Bernard Peterson, Jennifer's trusted business partner and family friend. I spend the next 8 hours tracing digital footprints, following money trails through layered corporate structures designed to hide theft. The evidence is overwhelming. Bernard has been embezzling from Jennifer for over 2 years, using her charitable work as cover for elaborate financial fraud. When I call Jennifer to explain what I've discovered, her response chills me to the bone. That's impossible. Bernard's like family. He helped set up the foundation. Look at the records, Jennifer. The shell companies, the fake vendor payments, the offshore transfers. Where did you get this information? Did you hack into our accounts? The accusation in her voice hits like a slap. Someone sent it to me anonymously. Someone? Or did you go digging for dirt on my friends? Jennifer, listen to me. Bernard Peterson is stealing from you. Bernard warned me this would happen. He said criminals like you always try to isolate their marks by turning them against friends and family. The words feel like physical blows. After everything we've shared, she believes Bernard's poisoned interpretation over my evidence. Catherine's predictions ring in my ears. When reality sets in, Jennifer chooses security over chaos. So that's what I am to you. A mark? That's not. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. Your business partner plants seeds of doubt, and suddenly I'm the criminal trying to con you. Silence stretches between us across the phone line. In the background, I hear the sounds of her privileged life, expensive music, the clink of wine glasses, the comfortable safety of wealth that shields her from ugly realities like betrayal by trusted friends. I need time to think, she finally says. About what? About whether you trust the woman you claim to love or the man who's been stealing from you? About whether love is enough to bridge the gap between our worlds. After she hangs up, I sit in my apartment surrounded by evidence of Bernard's crimes that Jennifer refuses to believe. The contrast between our responses reveals everything Catherine warned me about. I see theft and corruption. Jennifer sees impossible accusations against family friends. We don't just come from different economic classes. We inhabit completely different realities where the same evidence produces opposite conclusions. Where my expertise as a hacker becomes suspicious instead of valuable, where her loyalty to established relationships matters more than proven facts. That night, I don't call her radio show. For the first time in months, Midnight Confessions plays without my voice adding to Jennifer's loneliness. I listen to her talk about trust and betrayal, about the challenge of knowing who really cares about you versus who wants something from you. Sometimes, she says into the microphone, love isn't enough to overcome the fundamental differences in how we see the world. Sometimes the gap between two people is just too wide to bridge, no matter how much they want to try. Her words feel like goodbye, though neither of us has the courage to say it directly. I close my laptop, pour another glass of cheap wine, and accept that Catherine Wood was right about everything. Jennifer will choose security over chaos. She always does. The frame job hits me 3 days after Jennifer stops taking my calls. I'm in the middle of an encrypted conversation with a client when FBI agents kick down my apartment door at 5 a.m, weapons drawn, voices shouting commands that blend together in the chaos. Alex Chen, you're under arrest for wire fraud, identity theft, and cyber terrorism. I barely have time to wipe my hard drives before they're cuffing me, reading rights I can barely process through my panic. The evidence they cite makes my blood freeze. Attacks on government databases I've never touched, identity theft schemes I've never heard of, financial fraud targeting elderly victims that goes against everything I stand for. We have digital fingerprints linking you to 17 different cybercrimes over the past 6 months, the lead agent explains as they load me into an unmarked van. Your girlfriend's business partner provided very helpful information about your activities. Bernard Peterson. The bastard isn't just stealing from Jennifer. He's been setting me up as the fall guy for his crimes. The anonymous tip about his embezzlement was probably bait to get me digging where he could plant evidence. From county jail, I watch news reports about my arrest on a television with broken sound. The stories paint me as a dangerous cyber criminal who targeted wealthy victims through elaborate romance scams. They mention Jennifer as an unnamed victim who cooperated with authorities to expose my schemes. She sold me out. After everything we shared, every confession and kiss and promise, she chose Bernard's lies over her own experience with me. The betrayal cuts deeper than the federal charges threatening to destroy my life. The bail hearing sets my release at $2 million, an amount that ensures I'll stay locked up while Bernard covers his tracks and Jennifer convinces herself she was saved from a master manipulator. My court-appointed lawyer looks fresh out of law school and completely overwhelmed by the complexity of the charges. The evidence is mostly circumstantial, he tells me during our first meeting, but it's very extensive. Someone spent a lot of time building this case against you. It's a frame job. Bernard Peterson is the real criminal. He makes notes without much enthusiasm. Do you have proof? I had proof. It was on my computers that the FBI seized. We'll request discovery, but it'll take months to sort through the digital evidence. Months I don't have. In county lockup, hackers don't last long. My reputation protects me from some threats, but everyone knows I'm facing federal time. Dead hackers can't testify about frame jobs or expose embezzlement schemes. The first attempt on my life comes during lunch on day 4. A kitchen worker slips something into my food that tastes like bitter almonds. I barely make it to my cell before violent nausea hits, retching until there's nothing left but bile and the realization that someone wants me silenced permanently. You need protective custody, the guard tells me after the medical exam. Words out that you're worth good money dead? To who? People with money to spend on problems that need disappearing? Bernard Peterson's network keeps working even with me locked up. I count at least 3 more attempts over the next week. A shiv hidden in my mattress, an electrical problem with my cell. Is lighting that could have electrocuted me, a fight engineered to put me in the medical bay where accidents happen more easily. Through it all, Jennifer's absence feels like the worst betrayal. Not one visit, not one letter, not even a message through my lawyer. The woman who claimed to love me has completely disappeared from my life, leaving me to face federal charges and assassination attempts alone. On day 8, Catherine Wood shows up during visiting hours, immaculate as ever in a gray suit that probably costs more than most cars. You look terrible, she says, settling across from me at the scarred metal table. Prison fashion isn't my style. Jennifer doesn't know I'm here. I figured. She's made her position pretty clear. Catherine studies me with those calculating gray eyes. Has she? Or are you assuming her silence means guilt? The FBI said she cooperated with their investigation, provided information about my criminal activities. The FBI says a lot of things, doesn't make them true. I lean forward, interested despite myself. What do you know? I know Jennifer's been a wreck since your arrest. Hasn't left her apartment, hasn't answered anyone's calls. Doesn't sound like someone celebrating the capture of a dangerous criminal. Then why won't she see me? Because Bernard Peterson told her the FBI warned against any contact with you during the investigation, said it would compromise the case and possibly implicate her as an accessory. The revelation hits like a physical blow. Jennifer isn't betraying me. She's being manipulated by the same man who's been stealing from her and framing me for crimes I didn't commit. He's isolating her. Classic abuser tactic. Cut off outside influences, control the narrative, make the victim dependent on your version of reality. Why are you telling me this? Catherine's expression softened slightly. Because Jennifer loves you. Really loves you, not the temporary fascination I predicted. I've never seen her fight so hard for someone, even when everyone told her she was making a mistake. She gave up on me. She thinks she's protecting you by staying away. Bernard convinced her that any contact would make things worse for you legally. The manipulations are more complex than I realized. Bernard isn't just framing me and stealing from Jennifer. He's orchestrating our separation to ensure she won't investigate his crimes or support my defense. I need you to get a message to her, I tell Catherine urgently. Tell her the evidence about Bernard's embezzlement is real. Tell her to check the Foundation's accounts before he disappears everything. What evidence? The FBI seized all your computers. Before they arrived, I uploaded copies to secure cloud storage. The access codes are hidden in our old radio conversations, in the timestamps of my calls to her show. Catherine nods slowly. She'll know what that means. She'll know. As Catherine prepares to leave, I grab her arm. Why are you helping me? Because I was wrong about you. You're not a temporary rebellion for Jennifer. You're the real thing. And despite my feelings for her, she deserves to be with someone who loves her that much. After she's gone, I return to my cell knowing the next few days will determine everything. Either Catherine can get through Jennifer's isolation and convince her to examine Bernard's lies, or I'll face federal prison while the real criminal disappears with millions of stolen dollars. The assassination attempts continue, but hope keeps me fighting. Somewhere outside these walls, the woman I love might finally see the truth about the man she trusted and the woman she abandoned. Everything depends on Jennifer choosing love over fear, truth over comfortable lies. Everything depends on her remembering why she fell for a criminal in the first place. Catherine's visit plants seeds of hope that grow stronger each day I survive in county lockup. On day 12, my lawyer arrives with news that changes everything. Jennifer Morgan has requested an emergency meeting with federal prosecutors, claiming she has evidence of fraud related to my case. She wouldn't tell them details over the phone, he explains, but she's scheduled to meet with the U.S. Attorney's Office tomorrow morning. They're taking it seriously because of her family connections. I pace my cell that night, alternating between hope and terror. Jennifer has finally seen through Bernard's manipulation, but exposing him puts her in danger from the same people trying to silence me. If Bernard realizes she's discovered his crimes, she becomes a target for elimination. The next evening, my lawyer returns with Jennifer beside him. She looks pale and exhausted, dressed in simple jeans and a sweater instead of her usual polished elegance. Dark circles shadow her blue eyes, and her hands shake slightly as she sits across from me in the interview room. "I'm sorry," she whispers, the words barely audible in the concrete space. "I'm so damn sorry, Alex." "You found the evidence." Catherine told me about the cloud storage. "It took me hours to decode the timestamps from your radio calls, but when I accessed the files..." Her voice breaks. "Bernard stole everything. The foundation accounts, my trust fund, even the emergency funds meant for client care." "How much?" "Over $3 million. Money that was supposed to help trauma survivors. Redirected to offshore accounts controlled by shell companies he created using my identity." The scope of Bernard's betrayal hits me like a physical blow. He didn't just steal Jennifer's money. He used her name and reputation to commit fraud, while positioning me as the scapegoat. "The federal prosecutors are reviewing everything now," my lawyer says. "The evidence Jennifer provided directly contradicts the case against you." "What about Bernard?" Jennifer's jaw tightens. "Gone. His apartment is empty, his office cleared out, all the shell company accounts closed and transferred. He disappeared sometime last night. He knew you were going to expose him. Someone tipped him off. I only told Catherine and the prosecutors about the meeting." A chill runs through me as I realize the implications. Bernard has connections throughout Jennifer's social and professional network, people who keep him informed about threats to his operation. His disappearance wasn't panic. It was a planned exit strategy activated when Jennifer became a liability. "Did you confront him before going to the FBI?" "No, but I asked questions. About foundation accounting, about why our client services budget was always running short. He got defensive, made excuses about investment delays and regulatory complications. He's been planning this for years, I realize. The frame job, the embezzlement, even having me eliminated in prison. All of it was designed to let him disappear with your money, while you mourned the criminal who supposedly manipulated you." Jennifer reaches across the table, her fingers finding mine despite the guard's disapproving look. Her touch sends familiar electricity through my nervous system, reminding me of everything we almost lost to Bernard's manipulations. "I should have trusted you from the beginning. He was your friend, your business partner. I was just some hacker you met through late-night radio calls. You were more than that, and I knew it. I was just scared." "Of what?" "Of loving someone enough to risk everything for them. It's easier to trust people who can't really hurt you." Her honesty cuts deep because I understand it completely. Loving Jennifer meant risking rejection by someone whose opinion actually mattered. Safer to keep emotional distance than face the possibility of being found wanting by someone I desperately wanted to impress. "Where does this leave us?" I ask. "That depends. Can you forgive me for not believing you when it mattered most?" Before I can answer, my lawyer interrupts. "The prosecutors want to debrief you about Bernard Peterson's criminal network. Your information about his activities could help them track his movements and freeze remaining assets." Over the next 3 hours, I provide everything I know about Bernard's operation. The shell companies, the money laundering techniques, the connections to other criminals who specialize in making problems disappear. Jennifer stays beside me throughout the debriefing, her presence a constant reminder of what we're fighting to preserve. The charges against you are being dropped, the prosecutor finally announces. We'll have you released within 24 hours. In the meantime, we're placing both of you in protective custody. Peterson's organization won't appreciate being exposed, and you're both witnesses they can't afford to have testifying. How long will we need protection? Until we locate Peterson and dismantle his network. Could be weeks, could be months. That night, in a safe house on the outskirts of Mesa, Jennifer and I finally have privacy to address everything that's happened between us. She sits on the edge of the bed in our shared room, staring at her hands while I pace by the window. I didn't sleep with Catherine, she says suddenly. What? While you were in jail, she kept coming around to check on me. I thought you should know that nothing happened between us. Why would I assume it did? Because I abandoned you when you needed me most. Because I chose Bernard's lies over your truth. Because anyone else would have moved on by now. I stopped pacing to look at her properly. Jennifer without makeup, wearing borrowed clothes in a generic safe house, looks more beautiful than she did at any family gathering or art opening. This is who she really is underneath the wealth and social expectations. A woman afraid of being vulnerable enough to trust completely. I love you, I tell her. Not your money, not your connections, not the fantasy of fitting into your world. I love the woman who broadcasts confessions to strangers at midnight and builds sanctuaries for broken people and chooses hope over safety even when it terrifies her. Her blue eyes fill with tears. I love you too. The real you, not some reformed version that fits better with my family's expectations. When she stands and moves toward me, I meet her halfway. Our kiss tastes like apologies and promises, desperate relief that we survived Bernard's attempt to destroy us. Her hands frame my face like she's memorizing every detail, and I pull her closer, needing to feel her solid and real against me. I thought I'd lost you, she whispers against my mouth. Never. Not to prison, not to your ex-girlfriend, not to anyone who thinks we don't belong together. We make love on the safe house bed with desperate intensity, reclaiming each other after weeks of separation and doubt. Every touch carries the weight of almost loss, every kiss a celebration of survival. When Jennifer moves beneath me, her blonde hair spread across government-issued pillows, I see our future in her eyes, complicated and unconventional, but undeniably real. What happens after this is over? She asks afterward, her head on my chest. We figure it out as we go. I want to rebuild the foundation. Use my remaining money to actually help people instead of funding Bernard's lifestyle. I can help with that. Digital security, background checks, making sure the right people get the resources. Partners? In everything. Outside our window, dawn breaks over the Arizona desert, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Somewhere out there, Bernard Peterson is running from the consequences of his crimes, while federal agents close in on his network. But in this moment, safe in each other's arms, the future feels full of possibilities instead of obstacles. We survived the worst thing that could happen to us. Everything else is just details. 6 months later, Bernard Peterson's capture makes national headlines. Federal agents track him to a private yacht off the coast of Monaco, living under a false identity with millions in stolen funds. His extradition triggers investigations into corruption networks spanning 3 countries, but Jennifer and I barely notice the media circus surrounding his downfall. We're too busy building something real from the ashes of his destruction. The New Morgan Foundation operates from a converted warehouse in downtown Mesa, its open floor plan combining art therapy studios with digital security offices. Jennifer's trust fund, what Bernard didn't manage to steal, funds expanded programs for trauma survivors, while my hacking skills protect client data and expose predators who target vulnerable women. The Henderson case files are encrypted and ready for transfer, I tell Jennifer as she reviews grant applications at her desk across from mine. The police department finally agreed to our security protocols? After I demonstrated how easily their current system could be compromised by anyone with basic skills and malicious intent, she laughs, the sound warming our shared workspace. We've learned to balance our different approaches to solving problems, her patience and empathy tempering my directness, my technical expertise supporting her vision of healing through art. Catherine called this morning, Jennifer says, not looking up from her paperwork. The Whitney wants to feature some of our clients' work in their upcoming exhibition on trauma and recovery. That's incredible. Are you okay with working with her? Surprisingly, yes. She's different now. Less manipulative, more genuine. I think almost losing you taught her something about playing games with people's hearts. Catherine Wood has become an unexpected ally, using her art world connections to provide opportunities for foundation clients while maintaining respectful distance from our relationship. Her apology for trying to sabotage us was sincere, and her efforts to help expose Bernard's crimes earned grudging forgiveness. Speaking of hearts, Jennifer says, finally looking up with that mischievous smile I've learned to recognize, I have something for you. She pulls a small velvet box from her desk drawer, setting it between us like a challenge. My breath catches as I realize what this moment represents. Jennifer. Before you panic, it's not what you think. Exactly. I open the box to find matching silver bands, simple and elegant without the traditional diamond solitaire that screams expensive engagement ring. Partnership rings, she explains, her voice soft with nervous energy. For business partners who happen to be in love and planning to spend their lives together, but want to avoid heteronormative assumptions about marriage. You want to marry me? I want to commit to you in whatever way feels authentic to us. Maybe that's marriage eventually, maybe it's something we invent ourselves, but I want the world to know we belong together. I slip one ring onto my finger, testing how it feels to wear visible proof of our connection. The silver catches light from our workspace windows, casting small rainbows across the application Jennifer was reviewing. It fits perfectly. I may have stolen your measurements during one of our nights together. Sneaky art therapist. Reformed criminal consultant. We're laughing as I lean across our desks to kiss her, the rings clicking softly as our hands intertwine. Her lips taste like the herbal tea she drinks during client sessions, familiar and comforting and full of promises about tomorrow. There's something else, she says when we break apart. The radio station wants to give us a weekly show. Digital Hearts, call-in advice for people navigating online relationships and digital safety. Both of us? Both of us. Your technical expertise, my therapy background, helping people avoid the kind of manipulation we almost fell victim to. The irony is perfect. We met through radio confessions, almost lost each other to digital deceptions, and now we'll help others navigate the intersection of technology and trust. What would we tell callers about making relationships work across different worlds? That love isn't about finding someone exactly like you, it's about finding someone willing to build something new together. Something that honors both your histories while creating space for shared dreams. Her words echo observations we've made during difficult conversations about family pressure, class differences, and the ongoing challenge of bridging our different backgrounds. The gap between us hasn't disappeared, it's become fertile ground for growth. I love you, Jennifer Morgan. I love you too, Alex Chen. Outside our warehouse windows, Mesa spreads in afternoon light, a city full of broken people finding ways to heal. Tonight, Jennifer will broadcast her last solo episode of Midnight Confessions, officially ending the lonely chapters of both our lives. Tomorrow, we start something new together. The partnership rings catch light as I return to encrypting case files while Jennifer schedules client sessions, our separate skills supporting shared purpose. Somewhere in federal prison, Bernard Peterson serves 25 years for wire fraud and embezzlement, his carefully constructed life dissolved by the same digital evidence he tried to use against me. But his downfall feels less important than the quiet victory of choosing trust over fear, love over safety, hope over the cynical certainty that people from different worlds can never really understand each other. We proved him wrong about everything that matters. When my secure phone buzzes with the first caller for our trial radio show, Jennifer answers with practiced warmth. You've reached Digital Hearts, where technology meets trust. This is Jennifer. I lean toward the microphone. And Alex, tell us your story. The caller's voice fills our workspace, another lonely person seeking connection in a digital world full of deception and possibility. Jennifer takes notes while I trace security protocols, both of us working to provide the guidance we wish someone had offered us when we were stumbling toward each other across impossible distances. Through the warehouse windows, desert stars appear in the darkening sky, distant but constant, like hope itself. We built our forever from midnight confessions and digital breadcrumbs, two women from opposite worlds who decided love was worth the risk of everything.